Well, I'm gonna have to decide which plants is going and which plants is staying. And that's the gardenia. I think I'm gonna keep that. I'm not gonna keep a lot of stuff. It's just more work than alright. Tuesday I'm going to get me some more different pepper seeds. I want some hot stuff. Let's see, what did I do with that? This is some kind of azalea. It's still alive. And I'm going to keep it. It's got some new buds coming out on it. This stuff just needs to, you know, my problem started in November. Yeah. Started in November is when oh, hold on a minute. My problem started in November. That's when all that stuff happened that I have no memory of it. I started throwing up and aspirating and stuff, and I went in the hospital. And that's when I was so sick. I was so sick. I remember 2 or 3 times there, I wished I would just die. I felt so bad. And then I went into rehab. And I stayed there till Christmas Day. Christmas Day, they discharged me. And I went home. And I stayed home a little over 4 weeks. A little over 4 weeks. And I got sick, had a real bad cough and everything, and at the time I had pneumonia. I didn't know it. And they sent me to the hospital. And stayed in the hospital for a little bit. And then they sent me to rehab again. Uh, and I stayed there till just the other day, which was I don't know, the 23rd. And I got out. And and some things happened there. Some things happened there, and I gotta tell you, and I sound silly for even talking like this, but I've been around a lot of years, and that's long enough to know when I don't know how to say it. I feel silly for even saying it. But I fell in love. I mean, truly, I never had this feeling in a whole lot of years. And and the feeling was mutual with the girl, you know, and I say she's a girl because she was somewhat younger than me. Well, she was a lot younger. She was like 30. Married and divorced, no children. And we talked about it and stuff. I couldn't pursue it, and we talked about it, and because there's no room in my life for romance. My family, my daughter and my grandsons, they're first and foremost in my life. I just can't. I thought about things like, there's a honeybee sucking on one of these azalea flowers. Must be some goodies in there because he's hanging in there. But my daughter's been taking care of me for a while now. And I don't know, I just couldn't see it mixing well. A big thing was I'm able to drive. I'm just not comfortable with it. I don't feel safe driving anymore, and if I was healthy, it would be one thing. But I'm not healthy. And this girl just loved taking care of me and stuff, you know, and she was coming to see me on her off days, and she saw me a lot during her days she worked, 'cause she worked there at the rehab. But I just couldn't see it mixing well, so we pretty much give it up. But that's a wonderful feeling. And a lot of people would have had the problem about the age. And then there was a couple other ladies closer to my age in there that we got along a lot, 2 ladies. And one day I was sitting at this occupational therapy table, and there was this lady sitting there doing the stuff she was doing, and I was doing my stuff. And my hearing aid battery had went dead one day when we were sitting in there, and I thought I was whispering. I didn't know I was talking out loud that she could hear me. And I told my therapist person that, I said, you see that lady across the table from us? I said, if she lived in my neighborhood or I lived in her neighborhood, I'd be constantly hanging out at her door, just talking in jest, but it was loud enough the lady heard me. Everybody started laughing, and the old lady, she looked over at me and she gave me the prettiest smile. And I don't know what she said, but I was kind of embarrassed that she heard. I didn't mean for her to hear that, but she heard it. I don't even know her name. I didn't pursue it. We talked a lot. And then there was another old lady in there, same thing. Me sitting there running my mouth thinking they couldn't hear me and stuff, and they could. If she lived right around here, I'd go over and hang out at her house if she'd let me. But there's several things that happened in there, and the day before I left there, I almost got into a fist fight with a woman that brings the trays in with your dinner or whatever on them and sets them on your table. And she come in there. The only 2 good things about that dinner that night was the fact that it had cream of asparagus soup, which I love, and it had a can of V8 juice, which I like. And she set that thing down there, and she immediately took my bowl of soup and set it aside, took it off the tray, and took the V8 juice and set it aside, said that she has to put thickener in that. I said, you're not putting thickener in that. I said, it's not supposed to. Yes, it is. I said, it's already thick. It doesn't need it. You don't need it in the V8 juice and everything. And she kept on running her mouth, so I picked it up and I was going to hand it to her and tell her to take it because I wasn't going to take it with no thickener in it. And she snatched it out of my hand. She actually spilled soup on my hand, snatching it out of my hand. Well, if I could have reached her when she done that, I probably would have smacked her or something. Yes, I would have. And she was treating me like I was a child. And so we got a knot, and then I was going to slap the whole darn tray off in the floor. I was so ticked off about it. But she moved the tray before I could get to it. But I was really upset because I had discussed that with speech therapist lady about the V8 and the cream soups, and they don't need the thickener in it. And somehow they kept sending it over trying to thicken it from the kitchen. But and I was so dang mad for about 2 or 3 hours. I got a headache. I didn't get no supper that night because I wasn't gonna give her the stuff in the other stuff, because at least I was gonna eat that. But I didn't get that because she took the whole tray then, and so I didn't get nothing to eat that night. And I was still raising hell about it the next morning when the speech therapist lady, I seen her going by the hall. And I hollered at her and I told her, y'all need to get this stuff fixed. I said, because I probably got 2 more meals to go before I go home today. But I don't want that shit in my juice or, in my V8. I understand they gotta put it like in apple juice or cranberry juice, something like that. But in the thick, the V8 is thick, the cream soups are thick. You don't need it. Now, so I almost got, well, if I'd have been quick enough, it would have been a fight. I would have knocked the crap out of her. And it was just the way she was treating me, the way she snatched it, spilt the soup on me, stuff like that. I was ticked off. And the speech and therapy lady, she could see I was ticked off the next morning, and she didn't show her face around there when I was right before I was supposed to go, which she was supposed to do, because she knowed I was going to give her an earful. I mean, I liked the lady and everything, but not the I want to call her a lunchroom lady. But that happened the day I left, the night before I left. I can understand the aspiration thing. I do now. I didn't at first. They took me to the hospital to give me a swallowing test. It takes x-rays and moving pictures of me swallowing stuff. And that's what they come up with. I got aspiration problems or something. But I've lived my whole 80-something years with this throat and all that stuff. And they said, well, they get wore out. But they were forcing me, or trying to force me to eat stuff and drink stuff that I didn't want, and I was not going to drink it. If I have to have thickener in it, I don't want it. I mean, I'm not saying I would drink it without the thickener. I'm just saying I'm not going to drink it because it's got thickener in it, and I'll just take V8 or something. But But I had a great relationship with everybody in there except that lunchroom lady. And wonderful relationship with my therapist. I loved every one of them. I wish there was something I could do for them. I wished I could afford to go down to a buffet somewhere and have them all come over there at one time, one night or something, and just have a get together. I wish I could afford to do that, but I can't afford to do that. But they were great. And they had one guy named Ozzy. He looked like Dwayne Johnson. I called him Rock, and that kind of stuck on him. His brother works in there, Danny. They look like twins. And Danny'd come over every once in a while, get in my ear and said, "He's not the Rock, I'm the Rock." And I told Ozzy, I said, "You know what your brother told me, don't you?" "Yeah, I know." But great guys. And the women, the one I called the little engine that could, and then I started calling her the little engine that can, because she stood me up, and she's such a runt. Her name was Bree. And her and her husband just had a baby about 3 months ago, and but there was and Margarita and just people, and Nick. Nick looks like he's 20 years old and he's 47 and a grandpa. But I had a great time this time. I was actually had tears in my eyes when I had to leave. I'm gonna miss them. I wish I could go over there every day just to get a therapy session or something. I don't know if they have a deal like that or not. I don't know, but I'm glad to be home. I'm glad to be in my flowers and stuff, and my what is that? Oh, that's my roses that I got started. But yeah, I'm gonna be working out here a little bit in it, and I'm gonna be cleaning up my area over here. I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start scrapping electronics again, and I don't mean like a big pile of stuff. I mean just a piece here and there, and I'm gonna just scrap them and not make a mess for my daughter. And I feel so bad for my daughter. She, bless her heart, she's just taking care of me. My first child, my first baby. And our relationship right now together is the best it has ever been. And I feel so bad that she's got to go to work tonight. She get home in the morning and she'll start. Well, tomorrow though, she don't go to work tomorrow night. But it's go to work, come home, and start cleaning up and doing dishes and doing washing and stuff like that, you know. And she shouldn't have to do that. She shouldn't have to do that. And then that dinner we had Friday, oh man, I love that. I never had fried onions. She said to make onions like that, you have to slice them on a mandolin that slices them real thin. and then you have to batter it and fry it and everything. Man, I love them. My goodness. And what else? There was something else in there that, oh, the way they did my catfish, it wasn't like fillets, it was strips, you know, just little long strips. Gosh, that was so good. The only thing missing from that dinner that I would love to have had would have been fried oysters and clam strips. But anyway, I'm in a good mood, you know, and besides all that, I had this handful of people that's my YouTube subscribers. They're stuck with me, they haven't left me. And I wish there was something I could do for them. I would like to see that my former girlfriend, I guess we was a couple for 4 weeks. But you know how sometimes if you're single and you meet somebody and you just get smitten with them. I mean, I was smitten. I mean, I knew that from the get-go, about the first hour we talked. And then when she come in there on her days off, she was a tech there, and she come in there on her days off to see me and sit there and I knew for certain, man, she done got a piece of my heart. And we talked about getting together sometime after I got out, just to have lunch or something with me. And she knows how to take care of me, you know, and everything, because she's a tech. And she never had this. Those techs, they're the ones that had to set me on the toilet and everything and pull my pants down. And when I got done, I stood up and had to wipe my butt and all that. Thank God she didn't have. That would just tore me up if she'd have had to take care of me like that. But she's only been doing it about a month and a half now. And I was smitten. And that's been the first time since my wife passed away that's happened. I wish the situation had been where I was more independent and was still driving and stuff. Could have worked something out. But it is what it is. But I just wanted to relate to you guys what happened during this. Well, let's see. It happened, I guess I went in the hospital right the last of January. No, wait a minute. I was home on New Year's night. I guess it started happening around the 1st of January. No? It started happening about the end of January. Anyway, my YouTube family, I appreciate y'all sticking with me, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks. And I'm gonna try to start doing better videos. I love you. See you in the next one. Did I say that's my story and I'm sticking to it? Yes, I did. I love y'all so much. See ya.